Welcome to This Explainer. Look, today we're going to break down exactly how established, independent GP practices can reclaim their online visibility and drastically increase their patient review velocity. And we're going to show you how to do all of this using a completely privacy-first, ethical approach. If you manage a family medical center or if you own an independent practice, you already know the harsh truth. Word of mouth has entirely moved online. So let's dive into the actual, hard data on what it really takes to climb into those top 3 local search results on Google.
Here is our roadmap for today. We'll be moving through winning the local pack, the silent 99%, the privacy-safe approach, catching patient issues privately, and wrapping up with the 90-day ranking timeline.
All right, part 1, winning the local pack.
Let's start by diagnosing the core issue. What is the exact mechanism that dictates why certain practices capture the absolute majority of new patient inquiries in your suburb? It is just incredibly frustrating, isn't it? You watch a beloved 20-year-old practice slowly lose ground to an 18-month-old corporate clinic that literally just popped up down the road. But the reality is, patients searching for a new GP don't lean over the fence and ask their neighbors anymore. They pull out their phone, search GP near me, and scan those top 3 map results. Understanding exactly why that newer clinic is winning those spots is the absolutely crucial first step to taking them back.
So, how does Google rank these local map results? It comes down to relevance, distance, and prominence. Now, obviously, you can't exactly pick up and move your clinic's physical distance from a searching patient. But prominence? That is the one algorithmic lever you absolutely can control. Prominence is essentially a composite score. It's your total review count, times your rating, times, and this is critical, your recency. Google heavily, and I mean heavily, rewards the recency of reviews as a signal of current quality. A practice with 30 new reviews in the last 60 days is almost always going to outrank a practice that has 800 lifetime reviews but hasn't had a new one in 6 months.
And then there's the rating itself, 4.6. This is basically the magic cutoff number. Think about it. In consumer services, like a local restaurant or a dry cleaner, people might tolerate a 4.2, but in high-trust family medicine, prospective patients filter aggressively. Dropping below a 4.6-star rating means you're not just losing the visibility battle with the algorithm, you are simultaneously losing the trust battle with the patient.
Which brings us to part 2, the silent 99%. To really understand the root cause of this recency decay, why older, excellent practices suddenly stop getting reviews, we have to look at patient motivation. This staggering 99% represents your happy, silent patients. They leave their appointment feeling totally reassured. Their concerns were perfectly addressed. Their GP was warm and empathetic, but they never actually think to open Google and write a review. Why? Because to them, a good medical visit is just unremarkable, in the best way possible, and unfortunately, unremarkable simply doesn't motivate posting.
This is the major paradigm shift you need to make. Listen, you do not have bad doctors. You just suffer from a broken feedback system. The 1% of patients who, say, waited 45 minutes past their book time, they are highly motivated to go straight home and post a fiery review. Meanwhile, the 99% who received excellent care remain completely invisible online. We absolutely have to fix this asymmetry.
Let's look at how we fix it in part 3, the privacy-safe approach. Now, you might have tried some of that generic review software built for restaurants or home services in the past. It simply doesn't work in family medicine. The medical approach has to be entirely different. First off, it must rely strictly on appointment metadata, stuff like a name, a mobile number, and a timestamp. Absolutely never clinical notes or diagnosis. Second, and this is massive for your compliance, it actively guides patients to leave practice-level reviews about their overall experience. We're talking booking ease, wait times, reception warmth. It never asks for clinical testimonials, which we all know are strictly prohibited by medical boards. And finally, it communicates directly with the patient in your authentic clinical voice.
Because at the end of the day, privacy is non-negotiable. By configuring extensive cohort exclusions right at the integration level with your practice management software, you guarantee absolute privacy compliance. You can automatically block messages for mental health consultations, pediatric vaccinations, end-of-life adjacent visits, or sensitive referrals. You can even opt out specific practitioners entirely if they prefer. But here's the beauty of it. Even with these incredibly robust safety measures in place, you still reach a highly meaningful addressable cohort of standard consults and routine repeat prescriptions.
Okay, so how do we actually get that silent 99% to speak up? It comes down to 4 basic pillars for asking the right way. First, timing is everything. You have to capitalize on that short emotional peak right after the consult, when a patient feels heard, not 7 days later when they've forgotten all about it. Second, use wording that's tailored to your specific type of practice. Third, the message absolutely must look like routine communication from their trusted physician or practice manager. And fourth, you've got to remove the friction. It should take a patient literally one tap on their mobile phone to reach the review form.
Moving right along to part 4, catching patient issues privately.
I know exactly what every practice manager watching this is thinking right now. What happens when we accidentally text an unhappy patient for feedback and they leave a 1-star review? Well, this is your ultimate risk mitigation step. The solution is called intent filtering. If a patient indicates they had a negative experience in the initial microfeedback, they are instantly routed into a private resolution flow. That feedback goes straight to the practice manager's desk, never to Google. It ensures that a frustrated patient gets a phone call to repair the relationship rather than a public platform to vent on. To put this into perspective, a multidisciplinary practice manager down in urban Melbourne using this exact approach shared this with us. They caught 15 below 3-star issues privately in just their first 3 months. These were patients who had a frustrating visit and absolutely would have left a public 1-star review if they didn't have that resolution flow. It perfectly humanizes the data, doesn't it? It proves that patients mostly just want to be heard. Catching these issues privately turns a potential 1-star disaster into a totally resolved, constructive conversation.
And the results of doing this ethically are absolutely astounding. Let's stick with that same Melbourne practice. Over just 4 months, their local PAC rank jumped from position 6 all the way to position 2. Their rating climbed from a borderline 4.6 to an ironclad 4.9. Generating new patient inquiries up 1.8 times their baseline basically meant the practice owner could completely stop chasing paid marketing outreach. The inbound organic traffic from Google was more than enough.
And you really can't ignore this metric. Across the board, implementing this specific intent filtering drives an incredible 94% reduction in negative public reviews. You are actively protecting your practice's hard-earned reputation while simultaneously growing it. It's a real win-win.
Let's wrap things up with part 5, the 90-day ranking timeline.
So what's the actual prognosis here? Let's map out exactly what you should expect, completely evidence-based, without any of the SEO marketing hype. Because Google's algorithm has a natural lag built into it, it doesn't just reshuffle the map results the second a single new review lands. It takes a sustained velocity. The first 14 days are all about safe setup, integration, and tuning your cohorts. By day 45, those first 50 to 80 reviews land, and that recency signal starts flashing bright green to Google. By days 46 to 90, you predictably force a reshuffle, moving your practice up into those coveted top 3 map spots, lifting your new patient inquiries by 1.5 to 2 times.
It's all about compounding momentum month over month. Beyond 90 days, maintaining a sustained velocity of 60 to 120 reviews per month keeps that recency signal warm. And honestly, once your rating locks in at 4.9 with hundreds of reviews, it becomes virtually impossible for a single, unfair negative review to do any real damage to your prominence.
I'm going to leave you with this final thought. The landscape of patient acquisition has fundamentally changed. In high-trust family medicine, if your recent reviews on Google don't reflect the excellent care you provided in your clinic today, how many silent patients are passing you by for that newer clinic down the street? It's time to let your happy patients speak for you.